And
Just a minute. Okay. I'm done setting up with YouTube. So
I just got a message from Susan Grover. We
okay.
spoke, and she has indicated that she is not now interested in pursuing applying for the board. But so I didn't send her the link. She just requested it, so she may show up
Okay.
requesting to attend.
Great. So the recorder is on, the YouTube is streaming, and we're ready to go.
Okay, so I got 7:03 on my computer. So we'll call the meeting of the Town of Red Hook Zoning Board of Appeals for February 9th to begin. And the first thing on the agenda is approval of the January 12th, 2022 minutes. Does anyone have any corrections or additions to those minutes?
I had none, and I'll move to accept the minutes of January 12th.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, next item was review of the planning board minutes. I did review the minutes and I did not see anything that had implications for the ZBA actions. After that, comments from the chair. We are now down to 3 members. Jim Hegstetter submitted his resignation.
Oh,
And Jim Hegstetter?
yeah.
has
No, I
resigned.
said what? I said whoa. I'm sorry.
Oh, whoa, okay, sorry.
That's not good.
No, we are down to 3.
Three.
So we want to take this opportunity to thank Jim for his years of service. We will miss his institutional memory and his viewpoints. I think the board only profits from having a variety of views and more inputs than the 3. We're ready and willing to go ahead. We make a quorum, but we would appreciate additional membership. And to that end, anyone who knows of someone who may be interested in serving, the ZBA does not choose its own members. Obviously, someone would indicate to the town board that they had that interest, but we are now actively seeking members. We're perilously close to not having a quorum at any meeting, and technical glitches, illnesses, other things can happen. So, and recusals. So we need to get more people here for us.
In that regard, Madam Chair,
Yes.
in March, we will be going to Norway I'm leaving here on the 14th. Is that?
It is on the 9th. Does that help?
Oh, that's fine. That's great. I'll be here.
Okay. And how long will you be back by?
We'll be back
April?
in a couple of weeks. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Okay, great. Okay. Mr. Carney, I think I don't know that you've ever missed a meeting. You have anything on the agenda?
I have nothing on the agenda. No, not going anywhere. So,
Okay, me either. So, well, we look good for the next month. The first item on the agenda then that we need a motion for is the public hearing for the application for an area variance ZBA 22-01 for Lewis Rose. He's applying to construct a 558 square foot addition to a dwelling. And that would result in building coverage of 9.75%, and the town code limits building coverage to 5% on this parcel. This is at 894 River Road in the town of Red Hook. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any members of the public here who would like to be heard on the issue of Mr. Rose's application?
So because no one sent me an email, left me a phone message, mailed me a letter, or requested to attend the Zoom meeting. So I'm going to say I have no comments from the public.
Okay. Mr. Carney or Mr. Close, do you have any questions or comments to Mr. Rose?
No, thank you.
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, I do. Luke?
Yes.
I've lost you there. You're there. Okay, I just don't, for some reason, I don't see you, but I can hear you. Okay, I am a COVID refugee. I'm in New York City tonight because my kids are going through COVID one after another.
Oh, boy.
So I wasn't able to make a site visit, but judging from, I'm taking this information from the Duchess Parcel Access website. Your house is about 2,700 square feet, is that correct?
I think it's actually closer to 1,800 square feet, candidly. It's relatively small. It's 2 bedrooms upstairs and 2 baths. And then downstairs, living room, dining room, kitchen, and like a den. So I don't know if that includes the patio, 2,700 square feet. So I think it's actually closer to 1,800. Small
Well,
house.
it's quite a difference.
Yep.
And I mean, I know that these
Oh.
cards can be wrong because they're
Yep. No.
wrong for my house.
Okay.
It's the Dutchess County Parcel Access gives you 3 baths, 4 bedrooms, 2,700 square feet.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to disagree with that. I always, when people ask me, I've always said 1,800, but let me look and see what, no, it doesn't say on my survey here.
Mhm.
Doesn't say on my survey.
Okay, so, but you have no bedrooms on the first floor?
Correct.
And
Correct.
how many bathrooms on the first floor?
1
Is that a full bath?
full bath. Yes.
Okay, and that's insufficient to accommodate your need for a first floor bedroom and bath?
Yes, if I'm, again, I have, as I said, last meeting, I have been diagnosed with 2 forms of cancer, and I'm doing this so that I can live in place. Right now, they're under control, thanks to the good doctors at Sloan Kettering, but I'm doing this in anticipation. Should I be under the weather and can't climb the stairs, that I would be on the first floor. So if we're putting in a bedroom, the existing first floor bathroom is quite small, and so it just seemed to make sense to have a bathroom in the master in what would essentially become the master bedroom suite. I know that term is now on the outs, but that's what it is.
Okay, anything else that you wish to add to your prior comments and your application about this before we move on to vote?
No, we tried to do it so that it's not a large room, and it's on the existing patio, so that it's not actually, I'm not taking any green space. I'm not cutting down any trees. It's no closer to any of the perimeter, the streets, or anything like the setbacks. So, we've located in an area that, frankly, I don't think any of our neighbors would even notice it, which is why I don't think any neighbors filed comments.
Okay, and you previously indicated that the current coverage is in fact 8.5%?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, and Bob, is that in accord with your observations?
I haven't calculated the existing coverage.
Okay. Well, then we'll take Mr. Lewis at I'm sorry, Mr. Rose. Sorry.
It's been a lifelong issue. I have
You know.
a name with 2 first names and 2 last names.
You guys kill me with the 2 first names, 2 last names.
You should
I'm
imagine
sorry.
when I was a grade school student with a substitute teacher, and they would say, is Rose here? And then all the kids would snicker.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. I guess if we have nothing further to hear about the project, we can move on to the draft resolution.
Oh, is the board ready to close the hearing?
Members, anything else that you
I'm
want to ask?
moved to close the meeting in public hearing.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, do you guys have the draft resolution in front of you? And send it out?
Yes.
I can share it if that's helpful.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be
that would
helpful.
be, because I'm looking at it on my phone.
Yeah.
Thank
Getting
you.
printed out.
Victoria, I'll just hit the button so you can share screen. Okay, there we go. That should work.
Oh,
Yep.
thanks. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So so this is a draft and we need to put in the pertinent facts that we noted. And I think first is that the proposed project would increase coverage to 9.75%. But we're accepting Mr. Rose's statement that the current coverage is 8.5%. So the increase would only be 1.25%.
Right.
I feel that's pertinent. I would also note that he has a 1 acre parcel, and if it was not in the RD5 zone, 10% coverage would be allowed on a 1 acre parcel. As a second point. And Mr. Rose has told us that the proposed addition would occupy a patio area, so there wouldn't be any reduction in actual foliage or ground cover. I liked watching you do this.
Yeah, it's fun. The moving finger having ripped.
Turning my awkward words into meaningful sentence.
You're doing fine.
Okay. Any additional points that anybody think are salient? Anybody want to add anything? Victoria, is there anything else that you feel might be pertinent that I have failed to note?
I'm fine with it.
0.1, the last number should be 1.25%, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
The mathematician amongst us.
Attorneys in math, that's what they say. So.
Okay. Victoria, is there anything else you think that should be noted that I've missed here?
I mean, if anyone did a site walk, you can talk about visibility.
I was not able to do that because I'm in the city.
I stayed in. It's too damned icy and cold.
Okay.
Did not.
Okay, so I guess that's it. Okay, and we can go down to the factors. And the first one would be the variance requested will not produce an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. I would agree with that.
I agree.
I agree also.
Okay. Second, the needs of the applicant cannot be achieved by other than an area variance. Again, as I always do, I'm going to say I find this very difficult to say what the applicant's needs are, but he has told us what he wants, and it appears that the requested variance is the minimum required to meet what he needs to do to put his first floor bedroom and bath in place. So I would agree with that.
I would agree as well.
I also agree.
The requested variance is not substantial. I would say that it is numerically substantial. 5% is allowed, and he wants to go to 9.75% coverage. But in terms of its actual effect, given that we're already at 8.5%, I would say it's not meaningfully substantial.
Yes, yep.
Yes,
The requested variance will not affect the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. I would agree with that.
I agree.
I agree.
The hardship for which the variance is sought to rectify was not self-created. It was self-created.
Sure it was.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yes,
And the variance being granted is the minimum variance to meet the needs of the applicant. I will assume that Mr. Rose considered everything and finances involved in this and has made the minimum request necessary to achieve his end.
I agree.
yeah, I agree.
So then I think we need to vote to adopt the resolution.
I move to adopt the resolution as written.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good
I'll
luck.
Just
Thank you.
clarify that the approval is contingent on payment of all of your fees and escrow. So we will receive the bill for this meeting at the beginning of March. And if there, if there is anything outstanding, you will be notified.
Okay, and then if there's any money left over, I would ask that you keep it there because the planning board will pick this up now that you've finished your work. And so just can you do that, or do you have to?
I can actually, if you, just shoot me a quick email, I can just transfer it over to them.
Yeah, that'd be great, because I think there will be a little excess money. I don't know what the planning board's expenses will be, and rather than write a separate check, let's just carry it over.
Just send me a quick email and I
I'll
will.
take care of that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you all. I appreciate your assistance.
Thanks, Lou. Okay, and did you get anything from the Mead public hearing? Anybody indicate they wanted to speak?
No, no communications again, no voicemails, no emails, no letters, nothing. But
Okay.
we have, I think we have next on the agenda is Castiglione.
We do. I'm just trying to figure out which is going to be the shortest, but I guess we'll just,
They're welcome to go first. It doesn't bother me. I have a kids are in bed and I'm perfectly okay with them going next if that makes it easier for you guys.
I think you submitted some,
I submitted a bunch of additional paperwork that you guys requested.
yes, and a little narrative explanation.
Right.
Let's just keep the order of the agenda. Let's just do that. So next up is
That's fine with
the,
us. That's
continuing
fine with us.
I'm sorry?
That's fine with us.
Okay, next up is the continuing discussion of the request. It's a ZBA 22-02, an application for 2 area variances to construct a cottage with and a garage below it. They need an area variance because it's 10 feet from the property line and has a gross floor area of 984 square feet. And the town code requires a 35-foot setback and limits the cottage to 650 square feet. I have a big name there.
Castiglione.
Okay, there you are. Okay. So I have 2 questions. Again, because I am stuck in New York City trying not to get COVID.
Yeah, that's good. No good.
Yeah. I wasn't able to do a site visit, so I went on Dutchess County Parcel Access, and it says that your home is 2,860 square feet and that you have two and a half baths and 4 bedrooms. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. And it also says that you have a 624 square foot garage. Is that correct?
that seems probably pretty close. Yeah, something around there.
Okay. Okay. Mr.
I'm sorry, is
Close,
this a second garage that's being proposed? Or
Yeah.
is it replacing the garage?
No, second garage.
and Victoria, this is the question that I had about this. It appears to me that on this property, a 1,500 square foot accessory garage would be permitted under the code. And that a 150 square foot cottage is permitted. And that what is happening here is because the application is for both the garage and the cottage in one structure, a 2-story structure, that that's why we only need the variance for the setback for one structure. Correct?
I mean, I'm trying to think about that, but if that's what Bob has determined,
No, isn't the cottage itself, the living quarters, 984 square feet?
Right.
Well,
That's
that-
the
Right.
Right.
That's the
When
second.
only 650 square feet is permitted.
Correct.
Right. That's
So
the
So
that's the
he
one
needs that
variant.
variance. He needs that variance. Is that
but we
Right.
also
He
need
needs
the
that
side
variance.
yard.
But my question has to do with the fact that we've got a garage, which it has to be an accessory structure, and a
Mhm.
cottage. The cottage is limited to 650 square feet. He wants more, he needs a variance for that. He
Right.
needs a variance for the 2-story structure. If it was just the garage, what I'm getting at is only one garage accessory structure is permitted. And I want the record to be clear that at a later date, there could not be an application on this property for a separate garage. That this garage and the cottage are 2 separate structures, 2 separate
Uses.
entity?
uses permitted, thank you, permitted by the code, but they're being combined into one structure.
Does the code limit the number of garages to one?
Yeah, it does.
property?
Yeah, well, no, one accessory garage, one accessory building that can be used as a 1,500 square foot garage. That's my reading. And I don't have the code with me and I can't pull it up because I don't have enough
I
technology.
don't have my code with me either. I left it in the office.
So you're saying, if I understand your concern is that if this goes through and is built, you don't want them to call the whole thing a cottage and then come back
Exactly,
for 1,500
Exactly.
square
You
foot
can't
garage.
bootstrap a second, garage in because you've said that the first garage is integral to the cottage.
Right. Please, I don't want to build 2 of these.
Well, we also have to look at any subsequent owner. If this all runs.
Right, no, I understand.
So, yeah. So,
I would, I would say personally that the reason that I've picked the location, the space that I have picked is because it's really the only realistic location for an accessory structure on this property. Everything else is either too wet or, too far out of the way. So there is no other option, I don't believe.
okay.
I think you're fairly protected.
Okay. Well, I would just, that's
Maybe
a question. I mean, and we don't need to have an answer. And we've got a public hearing next month on this. So,
Right.
but that
Well,
is a concern that I
can think about, I'll look at the code provisions.
okay.
Bob, are you classifying the structure as a cottage or is it a cottage/garage?
It's a cottage with a garage below.
Okay.
Right, because the code definition of a cottage is frustratingly imprecise and unhelpful. But it's clear that an accessory structure, one of the examples they give for an accessory structure is a garage. So I don't think there's anything in the code that would allow a garage to be included as part of a cottage.
But a cottage is also an accessory structure.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
Mhm.
so a cottage plus garage is That's two accessory structures.
Okay.
And that, I just want to be clear on that because, you know,
That was my concern. The
for future
nomenclature.
use.
Yeah, the nomenclature. What is it? A cottage? And what is the highest use it's going to be put to? You know, it's going to be an accessory cottage, or is it an apartment on a garage, or, you know, I think we need to be
It's-
very
it's not-
clear.
It's not an apartment out of garage. You can't do that.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. That's the problem.
To have an apartment over an existing garage, the garage has to have existed before January 1st, 1993.
Okay. So you're going to take this existing garage
No,
and
The
No.
new garage.
there's no garage.
what's, how many buildings are on the property now?
Do you want me to pull up the plans?
Yeah,
I can pull up the map if you want.
yeah, how many buildings are on the property? I'm sorry, I haven't visited because of the same reason. I
It's okay.
don't want to slip and fall.
Adam, do you want to talk everyone through your proposal?
Sure, I can run through it again. So my current, as Kathleen was saying, my current house is 2,900 square feet with 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths, and I have a, I guess, 600 and some odd square foot garage directly attached to it. My proposal is a separate
Oh,
90-degree opposed garage
okay.
with a apartment on the top, which I was dubbing a cottage because in talks with Bob, I can't do an apartment in any other way because I can't put a new structure in and then put an apartment on top of it because that's not allowed in the code. And so I have to put a cottage on top of this garage. And so like, I guess that's two structures that I didn't know. That's interesting.
I'm curious as to, Victoria, I guess this is addressed to you. What is the distinction between an apartment and a cottage? This sounds like this sounds,
So I mean, Bob and I have talked about this before, but
That's right.
Bob here has determined that what's being proposed is a cottage.
okay,
So,
well,
yeah,
yeah, on what, and how is that different from an apartment, Bob? If
well,
you're the one-
it's not the apartment, isn't it the guest house or accessory?
Accessory dwelling,
Right, accessory dwelling unit. So what I've just pulled up is their house,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
The lot. So everyone can orient themselves. And then, Adam, where is your current garage attached to the house?
Yes, your mouse is on it now.
Right
That's
there.
the current garage, the one
Okay.
without the solar panels. And then, so like I was saying before, so if you look at there's two kind of funny looking circles, just sort of to the east of that. Those are actually wood piles. And that is where the new garage would sit. All the other properties, so in front of the house directly would be a kind of a poor place to put a building because it's soaking wet sometimes and because it blocks the view of the house. I think that's not a good system. And then obviously this little grassy area over to the north, I did think about at one point, but it is not deep enough to really build a decent structure. I'm considering making it having a parking area there, but that's about it. It's not going to have any structures on it because it isn't big enough. And those are the only locations on the plans that I could have. Now, obviously, in the back, we could extend the driveway and try to cut down some trees, but that whole thing is a stream in the back there.
I'm sorry, which is the back?
The back meaning east, the back of the house.
Where the
Right.
number 77 are?
Yeah, so 7-7 is the back of the house, and if you go further into the wood line there, that has a large stream running through it, and so there's no real opportunity to put anything in the back.
And again, I'm sorry, I didn't understand where the numbers, the first two 88s are. I take that to be the west.
Yes.
Okay, and you said that's not deep enough?
No, I'm sorry. So if you look directly up from the first 8,
Yeah.
there's an area there that has been mowed as grass. So no, up even further up across the driveway, the other side. There you go.
Oh.
That area was a potential thought for a building, but due to where the property line runs, I would be to have a building of any size there, I would be on my neighbor's property as opposed to just close.
Okay, and where the eights are, the first 88s, why is that not feasible?
So
That's the front of the house.
that's wet there, and then that's it's an entire reduction of the sort of the curb appeal and view of the house. Because as you drive down the driveway, you see the house, you'd be looking at the side of this building.
Well, you're the only one that drives down that. I mean, curb appeal is great, but you're the only one that drives down that and your guests, right? It doesn't lead anywhere but to your house.
Can you put an accessory structure in the front yard?
I don't know what the front yard is. Is that
Oh,
the?
Front yard is
What is the front?
A garage cannot be placed in front of the house.
Right. So then, I'm sorry, what was the issue with the 7 area here?
So that 7 area there is the septic field.
Okay.
Well, I guess just in terms of not just this application, but for the future, I would like to know how it is that we're distinguishing. I mean, is it just by the fact that it's on top of a garage that we're calling this a cottage? Is that how it works?
No, cottages
I mean,
do
I
not
don't-
have to be on top of a garage.
I know they don't,
In fact,
but as to
usually-
distinguish this from an apartment on top of a.
No, I think the issue here is that there are conflicting terms, and when something is,
Right.
when there's some vagueness, you read it in favor of the applicant.
Yes, but I would, yeah, I'll make a note.
Because, Bob, I don't know if you have a better explanation.
I don't.
Okay. Okay. Ambiguity construed in favor. Okay, I got that. Okay. I guess just to comment on the additional narrative, basically the email that you sent, Mr. Castiglione.
Yeah.
I appreciate the time that you took to do this, and you did a little research. But I guess that the use of this structure seems to have kind of drifted over time, because you originally stated that it was for use of your mother-in-law, who apparently is still working but plans to retire at some point in the future. And then you were going to entertain college friends, and then you've got family with 5 kids. 5 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 5. So here's the issue, and we'll go back to, and this is straightforward. Despite the fact that I have a 2,900 square foot house, I have no location for guests. Okay, so I have 1 bedroom for each of my kids, my own bedroom, and then this bedroom that you're in right now with me has been turned 100% of the time into an office, because it's really an odd shape for a bedroom anyway. So other than having them sleep in my living room, I have no location for guests. And so the main guest, the most repeatable guest, is going to be my mother-in-law. And that's the one that we're sort of looking to give, the most freedom to. And the reason for a real apartment, whether she comes and stays for a longer period of time, or whether she needs to stay here long-term for whatever reason, that's the one that this is sort of based on. And then on top of that, when we have friends come over, all of our friends at this point have kids, and they all bring their kids. And so it becomes a family of 4 or a family of 5 that's joining us. And then I really run out of space for people to stay. And so we've turned this into the option for us to comfortably have these people come and stay with us, for whether it's friends that are coming and staying for a weekend, or whether it's relatives that are coming and staying for longer than a weekend, for them to be able to, and to have a real location for landing.
Okay, so what I understand, to distill it down, is that this space is for your guests.
Right.
Okay. And
So is the primary driver, though, the garage? I mean, can you just build the guest house without the garage, or you need both?
Well, I don't, so I was trying to do two things at once. So I'm like, I don't want to build more buildings. I want one building to solve all the problems I have. My second and additional issue is that I have very, very limited outdoor space. I have a 600 and whatever she said earlier garage that I outgrew before we moved into the house. It struggles to fit two cars because of the way the door is arranged. It has a set of stairs in it that leads down to the basement of the house, which takes up the first 8 feet. And between that and the steps that lead into the house, we cut down that garage space quite a bit. So a lot of my outdoor not toys. A lot of my outdoor yard equipment tends to remain outside, especially in the summer when it's not going to get iced. But it ends up being a decision: do I leave my car outside, or do I leave my lawnmower and some of the kids' toys outside to litter the yard? And I don't like either of those options. And so the new garage is big enough for, as I was saying last time, a truck, which I have, which doesn't fit in the garage at all, and the other outdoor equipment, lawnmowers and weed whackers and sharp things, and the additional kids' toys that are not in or are not great at fitting in my current garage and are currently stored in my attic. That's the reason why I've tried to combine my need for outdoor storage and my desire for a guest apartment, a guest space.
Have you considered turning your current garage, which isn't big enough, into the suite? If that's possible, then Bob, you'd have to say that, but convert the garage into the rest of the house, change the front of the house, make it look more appealing without those garage doors near your front door, and build a garage.
So I changed the garage that I have into a suite and then just build a garage instead of building the cottage.
Yeah.
So I don't know what, so Bob, you can talk about whether or not that's feasible.
That's
Point
permitted.
It is permitted? Okay.
You
But
could
my
have a
house
larger
doesn't-
garage.
What?
You could have a larger
You
garage.
can have a big garage, and you can have a much bigger suite, because your mother-in-law is going to take up all of that. You could probably put 2 rooms and a bathroom in there, in that existing space.
So I'm going to say that is one that I haven't, that we did not hash out. We hashed out a number of other options. I'm just leaning away from getting rid of the current garage.
I mean, it makes more sense. Why do you want to go to all the trouble of all of that when you can just go ahead and have your architect figure it out most efficiently and then and build a garage?
And honest to God, you want your mother-in-law on the first floor.
You do indeed.
Well, that I
Well,
will
maybe
agree.
not, but
Mother-in-law
that's
first.
not us to say.
On the second floor. I mean, that just doesn't. Read the room.
Mother-in-law.
Okay.
Probably
Well,
save you money in the long run too.
I don't know. I don't want to just keep going around the same stuff.
Right.
If we have any new comments, let's proceed with those, and then we can move to set the public hearing for the next meeting, which I think was Mr. Castiglione's preference. Is that
Yes.
still true?
Yeah.
Okay. And we offer these comments and suggestions, you can stand
Well,
on
I
your.
very much appreciate that, because that is we thought about, can we bump out this room? Can I change this? I think one of you guys said last time, can you make an addition onto the other side of the house, which it just doesn't work. We thought
The
about
slope
that.
Didn't work for you, yeah.
We thought about, we actually did think about building, we thought about trying to raise that garage to almost the height of the rest of the house and build an apartment over there. But that just messes entirely with the flow of the house.
Sure.
And that doesn't really add the right space.
You could turn
but
that garage into a cottage.
We hear your concerns and I think we can go ahead and may I have a motion, if I may, to set a public hearing for the next meeting, which is going to be March 9th.
I move to set the public hearing for March 9th.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 The public hearing will be for what he has applied for, the variance he's applied for. Is that correct?
That's correct. If he was to change it.
Correct. Right. If you are to change it, you've got to let us know.
No, we would still like to apply for what we've
That's fine.
applied for.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, and next on the agenda is the Meads, right? Yes. Next on the agenda is the public hearing for the ZBA 22-03 Derek Mead application for an area variance to convert an existing garage to a cottage on a 2-acre parcel, and the code requires a 3-acre parcel for a cottage. The parcel is at 267 Hapeman Hill Road in the town of Red Hook. Can I get a motion to open this public hearing?
I move to open the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okey-doke. Okay, Meads, you're here. I can't see you, but I know you're here.
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, oh, there you are. Okay. Okay, anything additional that you want to tell us about your application?
No, nothing has
Yes.
changed since we spoke last.
Okay. Board members, any questions or concerns for the Meads?
No?
Oh,
Thank
not
you.
for me.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Again, no site visit, so I went to Dutchess County Parcel Access. You have a 2,250 square foot home with 3 bedrooms and 1.5 bath. Is that correct?
Yep. Kind
Okay.
of.
What do you mean, kind of?
It's technically 2 bedrooms. The ground floor, which is a sub basement, can sort of be considered a bath.
It's a finished walkout basement that's counting, but there are only 2 bedrooms on the second level in this house.
And they're both on the second level.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay. And what's the size of the existing garage?
Oh,
Total square footage there
it's like 1,200.
is probably around 1,000 or 1,000 to 1,200 square feet. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 800 to math.
We included a diagram which indicates the proposed cottage, and I think the square footage there was around 600,
Mhm.
and it's half the structure.
Okay.
With that outset.
And so half of the current garage will still be used for garage purposes and half for the, okay. So we can go ahead and consider it, okay. I see it, okay. I don't have these documents with me, which is why I'm going over it again. I apologize. They're in
No
Red
problem.
Hook and I'm not, so. Victoria, can we get this draft resolution up?
While I'm doing that, do you want to close the hearing?
Okay, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so here we've got the draft variance resolution. And pertinent facts. Gentlemen, do you have anything you want to note? I've got a few if you don't, or I would first note that the cottage will be making use of an existing garage and it will not extend the footprint of any structure on the property. And second, that there will be no visible change other than, I believe, a doorway in the appearance of the property from the exterior.
And probably windows, right?
This, I don't know.
Yeah, we would, I think because of the insulation factor, we would probably shift the garage door into windows. And a door. So that open space, correct?
I don't know what that means.
The garage door is not going to be a garage door.
It doesn't open space.
No, it doesn't. No, we're going to use that space and fill it in.
Yeah. The garage door that exists will be replaced with windows and a regular access door.
Yeah, that's what there was. Yeah, I think you said there would be a loss of 2 doors at the prior meeting. And let's see, so, and in terms of neighbors, I just was able to use the mapping features to look at the placement of your property and the other abutting properties, and it didn't appear as though your garage would be visible to any of your neighbors. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
So Victoria, did you want to put in for number 2, no visible change to the exterior of the structure except the garage door will be replaced with windows and a door? That's what I have for number 2.
I didn't put it in because that is a change.
Okay.
So-
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay, anything else that we need to note here?
Not on our end.
Okay. So then going down to the factors to consider. The variance requested will not produce an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. I would agree with that.
I agree.
Okay. The needs of the applicant cannot be achieved by other than an area variance. Because of the property is only 2 acres, it would need a variance to accommodate the cottage. So I would agree with this.
I agree.
Gentlemen?
I
Okay.
agree.
Yes.
The requested variance is not substantial. I would agree that it is not substantial. It's making use of an existing structure.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Numerically is being noted at the moment.
Marvelous.
It is. And we are happy to
And
have
this
our.
is not artificial intelligence at work. This is real intelligence.
The requested variance will not affect the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. I would agree with that.
I agree.
The hardship for which the variance is sought to rectify is self-created,
Yes, it is.
Yes.
and the variance being granted is the minimum variance to meet the needs of the applicant. I would agree with that.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And
And I'll just say, you heard me speaking to Mr. Rose, so your approval is contingent on paying of all fees and escrow, and we will have your final bill early next month. So I will go ahead, when Victoria sends the draft resolution over to me, I will give it to Bob Fennell. But you know, there may be some final settlement. We just don't know yet at this
Okay.
time.
No problem.
Thanks, Anna. Look out for that message.
thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. We're so
Appreciate it.
grateful. Have a lovely night.
You too.
Okay, and last item on the agenda then is the review of ZBA 22-04, Gregory and Elizabeth Bathrick. They would need 2 area variances to construct a new home and garage. The garage would be 15 feet from the side property line, and the garage would also be in front of the proposed home, 49 feet from the property line. And the town code section 143-18A2 requires an accessory structure be set back 20 feet from the side, and 143-18A4 requires that the accessory structure project no closer than the principal structure or meet the required front yard setback of 60 feet. And this parcel is at 81 Country Club Drive in Red Hook. Mr. and Mrs. Bathrick, you're here. I can't see you, but do you want to explain your project to us and tell us why you would require these variances to complete your project?
Christy, our architect, is going to talk about that, if that's okay.
Sure. And get the appearance information.
Yep, I'm sorry.
Whatever
what-
you need.
And can you allow Christy to
architect.
share?
Oh, yes, of course. I didn't hear that clearly. I'm sorry. It should be, it says multiple participants. I clicked that button, so she should be able to share it.
Did you want me to share or are you going to share
You can walk us through your presentation.
it? Okay, great.
Go ahead. Lovely.
Okay. So the site is at the country club. I think you guys all got this paperwork that I dropped off. The site is 0.6 acres. It's located between Country Club Drive and Shook's Pond. This is 199 here, and this is the golf course. There's houses all the way around the pond, and this is one empty lot. Our proposal is to build a 2,500 square foot house with a detached garage and a pool with a pool house. This is standing at the street and looking towards the pond. The pond is down there. There's an established maple tree on the site. This would be the neighbor to the one side. And then if you stand in the same place and tilt and look towards the other side, that's the other neighbor. So that's the whole width of the property.
Those are your tire tracks.
Yeah, those are the tire tracks.
Yeah.
The established maple is pretty much the reason we're asking for the variances. We'd like to keep it. So here's our site plan with the road. Just make it a little bit bigger. So the driveway would come in, the house would be located here. The house does not need any variances. We are 30 feet from the one side and 74 feet from the other side. We're 40 feet from the rear, so and 78 feet from the front. So the house doesn't need any variances at all. We wanted to detach the garage and connect it with a pergola. And here's the tree that we want to be able to keep in place. And that has sort of encouraged us to move the garage more forward than the zoning setback wants it to be. The zoning does allow a garage to be whichever is less, either the front yard setback or behind the primary house, but I am neither here. I am not quite beyond the front yard setback, which is this line here. So, and then since it's an accessory structure, its side yard setback requirement is 20 feet, but we would be 15 feet. And we feel like this is not out of character with the neighborhood. The neighborhood does have houses and detached garages and things that are closer to the street, much closer to the street in a lot of cases. And we really had to work hard to try to fit our septic and our driveway, and you can see these dashed lines that indicate the wells. The engineer has everything mapped out so that everyone's well is out of distance from the septic. So it ends up with not a lot of places to put a lot of things. And again, the keeping of the 200-year-old sugar maple tree was sort of one of the main goals. One thing I do want to mention, so those are the two variances we're asking for. I hesitate to say anything, but that first application tonight that was talking about being above the land coverage, Bob didn't put that on his list, but this lot is only 0.6 acres and it's in zone R2. And it's certainly not out of character at all for these small lots to have a house on them that's this size. This is not a giant house. That the footprint of our house is about 1,800 square feet. But that already exceeds the 7% lot coverage. So
You're gonna need a variance for that.
yeah, so we're gonna need
Yeah.
a third variance for that, which was not on the list. Are there any questions?
I mean, the board can add that tonight and then you can submit an amended application.
Yeah.
Okay, do we need to just say that, or do we have to vote on accepting this, or what?
When you set the hearing tonight, we should be specific that you're setting the hearing on, and then identify the separate variances, and we can include the lot coverage.
Okay. So where is the well on this map for the proposed structure?
This would be our new
Okay.
well right
Okay, I
here.
see it now, yeah, okay.
So
Where
this
is
is the 100-foot mark for our well. And then this is the 100-foot mark for the neighbor to the east. And this is the.
Slow
100
down, will you? I can't follow.
I'm sorry?
Point out the well again, will you?
Right here.
Right where?
Lower left corner,
Oh, lower.
you'll see
Okay,
a little
there,
motion.
there you are.
The
Okay.
hand moving.
Sorry, I have an eye disorder, so my
I'm sorry.
stabs don't
Yeah.
work. That's all right. Thank you.
And it's white on white, but yeah, so lower left.
Where's the
corner.
field? Where's the septic field?
This is the septic field up here.
That's what I
and then-
thought. Yep, okay.
And when he does his deep test pits, it will be determined if he needs to expand a little further east this way, then some of these pine
Right.
trees will
Okay.
make more
Ms.
space. for it.
Gillespie, what's included in the lot coverage? Is the future pool house part of that? Or
It
is
is.
that,
Yeah, I did include that. I could do the math and see if I take that out. But I believe that the Baffics can speak up, but I believe we were wanting to get the approvals for everything so that they wouldn't have to come back in the future.
and the pool is also counted in that coverage? I just want to be clear because this way there's no,
As far as I know, building coverage is buildings, not pool, but Bob can tell me if I'm wrong. So I was doing the footprint of the house, the footprint of the garage, and the footprint of the
It's
pool
roof
house.
structures, roof structures.
and you don't count a pool as a structure. Okay.
It is a structure, but it's not a roof.
It is a structure, but it wouldn't be counted as building coverage, correct?
That's right.
And the patio also not coverage.
That's not covered, not roof. It's not roof.
I'm just wondering why the garage projects to the left on this drawing. You know, you've got a snout garage.
Yeah, it's a 3-car garage, and we're having 2 cars tandem, so one behind the other. And so that way at the facing of the house, the facing of the street, you're just gonna have 2 garage doors rather than 3 garage doors. Even though it might look funny on plan, I think our intention is that it will actually minimize the size of it, because a 3-car garage, when it's 3 doors all the way across the width, can look quite massive. So this was a way to actually make a smaller roof. Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense. And rotating the garage so that the faces the lake, that,
Yeah, so I should have talked about this. If I rotate the garage so that so that it's not at an angle like this, and so that it's perpendicular to the house, and then I could try to have its back line up right with that 20-foot accessory structure line, it really starts to make it difficult to drive into the garage, and it really starts to make the driveway really close to the front porch. I don't know if you can imagine it, but if the whole thing was rotated 45 degrees, this driveway, you almost have to back up into your front porch to get in and out. So the tilt was to help assist getting in and out in a easier way.
What's the distance between the front porch and the garage?
I think it's the front porch of the garage. Let me see.
I mean, it doesn't seem too difficult to just rotate the whole thing. I mean,
yeah, I'm not following the getting in and out of the garage, why rotating it would be more
Neither am
difficult.
I.
It seems like it
it's the
would be a
same
more
width.
direct entrance or.
Yeah, you go in
Yeah.
and that's it.
It's 34 feet from the garage to the corner of the porch.
Yeah,
34.
and how wide is the proposed driveway?
The width here,
Yeah,
about 22 feet. It's a two-car garage.
yeah, it's just bigger than a parking space, a standard parking space, but all the way around, it's 22 feet.
This is 22 feet. This is the size of the garage, you mean?
No, the driveway.
I don't know what dimension you want.
That right there.
Like the
How big is
diameter of the
how big is
diameter of
that?
the large circle.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
the driveway. I don't know what that white hole in the middle of the driveway is. Is that going to be a tree?
It's a circular driveway, so that would be grass.
Well, I know it's a circular driveway, but that's what I want to know is how wide is the circle around the grass?
Okay.
6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet?
The circle of grass inside.
No. How wide is the macadam or whatever the surface is going to be of the driveway that goes around and goes in?
It's just a standard 9-foot wide driveway.
It's 9 feet wide. So if you just poke that nose of the garage doors perpendicular, parallel to the, I don't know, I can't see what the problem is.
I don't either.
Yeah, I suppose we could tilt it back so that it's parallel to the street. I thought it would be more interesting this way and less, only this corner would be close to the street as opposed to the whole long wall being
Well, I mean,
parallel to the street, but
there's also landscaping you can do, and you can do a facade with windows or whatever you want to make. You can make it look like a cottage, even though you can't use it as a cottage.
yeah, no, it's gonna look beautiful. It is gonna look like a beautiful building.
Well, there you go.
You're the
So
architect, of course
so
it's
tilt
gonna
it.
look beautiful.
It offends my orderly sense. I'm sorry. The way it is now, it looks odd.
Christy, you sent me a site plan on this on January 14th. It was very small. And in the accompanying memo, you said the accessory structure, pool house, and primary structure house are in full compliance of zoning, I believe. But now that I look at this blown up version of the site plan, the garage is 15 feet from the property line. Isn't that correct?
Correct. That was a side yard variance we're asking for because the accessory structures are supposed to be 20.
And the house on the other side is 30 feet.
Right, but you referred me to the zoning the zoning for
There's
lots of record, I think it was called.
okay, there's a special exception.
143-13 existing lots
Yeah.
of record, and
That's
when we
right.
go through that,
When you have a small lot, where is that? Let's see. I don't have.
I-
20-foot side yard setback for accessory structures, yes.
I actually pulled it up in case this came up. So for existing lots of record, the total of both sides yards for the principal building shall not be less than 40% of the lot width. Provided, however, that no single side yard for a principal building shall not be less
That's
than 60%. So I meet all those requirements.
You
with the
meet those
house.
requirements, that's right.
Yeah, so, because at first I did think that I needed a side yard variance for the house.
Right,
and
I
then-
pointed that section out to you.
Yeah, and you
That's
pointed
for
it.
undersized lots, that's for undersized lots.
Exactly, yeah, and this is, because this is a 3 acre zone, but this is a 0.6 acre lot. So,
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
The good old days of no zoning.
So I have a question. What, if you're saying the variance is necessitated by this tree, what steps are you going to take during construction, to preserve the tree and make sure that it's not, the excavators and the roots and all that are watched?
yeah, we would be marking outside of the drip line of the tree. So that to prevent any machinery from driving over its roots and compacting its roots, that's the best thing that can be done, to prevent its demise.
Is it a sugar maple or is
Yes,
it a Norway?
yes,
maple?
it's a sugar maple.
Sugar maple, okay.
Yeah, and also there's the pond down here, Shook's Pond. So we have, because of Shook's Pond, we have the 100-foot wetlands buffer here. And so there would be a silt fence and all the requirements put out by the to protect that water. So there'll be a lot of environmental protections going on here.
Just as an example for your tree, we changed the Elmendorf Inn parking lot into the green. And there are 3 huge, equally old sugar maples. And we got too near the front one. And it was against the advice of our tree man who said you shouldn't go that near. And indeed, half the tree is now on its way out.
Yeah.
So I would urge you, again, to change, move as far away from the drip line as you can.
Well, I can do that as long as you'll give me the front yard variance. This is why the garage is in the front yard, for all these reasons that we're talking about. So,
Well, you're only needing the variance for the intrusion on the side lot.
yeah,
right?
I can smush it. If that's what the board would feel is important, I think I could smush it and drop needing the side yard variance.
Which just seems reasonable, that's all.
And
be a
then,
great
but
idea.
I would need the front yard variance, and I might even need it to be a little bit and I might even need it to be a little closer. Because your point is well taken, Chris, that this is close.
Yeah, it's too close. And when you get into the pergola and all that sort of stuff, it changes everything too.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I put it here was because of the 35-foot setback, and I was only gonna ask for a 5-yard variance, but then when Bob pointed me to that existing lot of record part, and now I don't need a variance over here.
Mhm.
But the neighboring house is, again, talk about before zoning, this is the neighboring
Yeah, right
house.
there. Sure.
It is, less than
They're
12
both
inches
close.
to the property line.
Yeah, it's in
So
your-
I really don't want to go any more this way, otherwise, they'll be
Right.
too close.
So, do you have a DEC? I mean, it's not really related to the variance because all of this is towards the back, but do you have permits for the patio and pool?
We've applied, yes.
Okay. Because if they require you to scooch further back, then, everything's gonna shift, or I guess they come out.
That's true. Yeah, we have not heard back from them yet, but we have all the permits in and we're waiting to hear back from them.
I mean, do you want to wait until you hear back to process this? Because you may need to come back to modify it at some point.
Liz and Greg, do you want to weigh in on that question?
I think it makes sense to keep going, and I guess if, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm thinking that they'll either let us build the pool or they won't. I don't know that it's going to be.
Well, it's the patio too.
Well, that's oh, I see. It is. I
Is
know,
this a
Greg.
federal wetland or a New York State wetland?
New York State freshwater.
Okay.
So this is Greg Batrick. We're talking about the DEC approval. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct.
I just want to clarify that. You know, I would like to get resolution on what we do with the front and side variance during this meeting. And if we can get at least, you know, verbal agreement, then we could come back on the next meeting with, you know, if we have to make a change. If not, then we could effectively approve things. So if, let me do a what if. If we have to move the garage to fix the side, but we still have the front variance needed, would that require another meeting anyway? Or would that just be a drawing and approved?
We have to do
offline?
another meeting at this point. The board
Okay.
would be scheduling a hearing for March, at which point, you know, people may show up or they may not. And then the board could theoretically make a decision at the March meeting.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. So if we have to come back to March related to any decisions that we make in this meeting, then are you saying we should just stop the discussion? I would like to talk through and at least get some.
You're welcome to proceed. The question I had was, if the DEC declines to allow the pool house and the pool, you know, you take them out, but your patio is also in the rear, in the wetlands back. And so if you end up having to move everything up, it will change the variance request that the planning board is reviewing. And so the options are continue with your project as proposed, and you take the risk that DEC makes a change, maybe they won't, or you wait until you hear back from DEC, but now you've, you know, waited potentially 6 months and then you come to the zoning board and they make you change it anyway. So, you know, either way, there's risk involved. It's just your choice on how you want to proceed.
No, I understand. And DEC didn't give us an indication how quickly they would rule on this, Christy?
They did, I think they said within 2 months.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we're half a month in.
Yeah.
Well, so if and I guess this is a question for Christy. I don't know if this should be in an open forum or not, but if we had to push the house back, we would still, so if the garage tilts the other way so that it's horizontal, and we ended up having to push the house back at some point, we would still be behind that line that crosses, right? Anyway, so I don't know that would that require a whole new zoning thing to?
Well, I think we would, right now, we're going to be asking for 49 feet, say, but if the house has to move more forward, then the garage would also have to move more forward, and we would need an even larger front yard variance, right? I don't foresee, and I shouldn't say this, but I don't foresee this DEC not permitting us to build at least the patio. Because this is the wetland buffer. This is not, and this would have very minimal impact. It could even be on piers, if, you know, I know we don't want to, but it could possibly be changed to a
Right, we could do a deck, yeah,
and then it would just
exactly.
have piers. So I've done projects where the DEC will allow a deck to go in. I'm not sure about the pool. I'm not sure about the pool house, and that's what we need to wait to hear back from. But I don't think we would end up moving the house.
Right.
I feel
Well, and I'm not sure that the pool and the pool house are like make or break anyway. I mean, those are nice to have, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So if that's the case.
Just
go
want to
ahead.
make sure that the applicants understand that if they change their variance request in any way, once we've set the public hearing, they don't, Victoria, you can confirm this, don't they basically have to start from scratch and redo the public hearing, pay for the certified mailings and the publication of the public hearing notice and everything? So that's the risk you're talking about, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Can I add something? The pool house is going to increase the lot coverage. So that has to be calculated into the lot coverage of the pool house.
Yes, I have that calculated into the lot coverage, yes.
Okay, okay, good.
So, I guess we don't need to specify exactly what the variance would required for coverage would be at this point, just to
No,
state that there
we
would be a
do.
variance, such a
We do
variance
need
required.
The coverage variance, and it would be based on the plan you've presented, which would, I guess, I don't want to say worst case scenario, best case scenario for you. But, you know, you want to come forward with the largest variance request, and then if it happens to get smaller,
That's
that's,
okay.
we don't need a new hearing. If it gets larger, then we have to reprocess.
Right. So, right now, the lot coverage is 11% instead of 7%, and that's including the 3 structures. And so that would be the variance we would be asking for that. If we remove the side yard variance for the garage, because we tilt it, we might change this, instead of, what is it, 65 minus 49, is that? Maybe we, to be safe, you know, change that 49 to a 45 or something. Is that kind of what you're saying, is that make this number, give us ourselves a little bit more wiggle room?
How much space do you need to
Well,
move?
I'm not following, because if you're turning it so that the long side of the garage is horizontal, then you're reducing the required variance.
Well, this
Are you
number would stay the same. The 49, it would still be 49 feet from the front property line.
Okay,
Instead of 65 feet.
Yeah.
So we would still need the front yard variance.
so you would, so that, I'm just gonna call it north because it's like a map. So
Yep.
that point would be fixed, and you would just rotate on that point,
Yeah,
rather than rotate on the lower left. Okay, I got it. I think I understood.
You would take away where your mouse is, you would move to the right approximately how many feet? 6 feet? 5 feet?
I think I would use this as a pivot point.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
yeah.
this point wouldn't move at all.
Okay,
And
but we're,
the line that's here would be
Right.
exactly here. I
yeah,
don't,
okay, that's fine. That's what, yeah, it looks,
Okay,
that's what I thought. Okay, thank you. But the bottom of the garage, or what is now the side that's nearest the garage, and the tree would move up in the same amount of
Yeah.
space as you take up to move the thing, right?
yeah, so actually I just did it on my page here. So it would still be 5 feet over the line if I pivot at that point. It doesn't make it not be over the line, unfortunately.
and you
I would
can adjust that,
I would have to slide this closer. Which is what I tried to explain in my original, the closer the house, the closer the garage gets to the house, the more my driveway impedes in my septic area. And
Yeah, yeah.
closer the driveway gets to the front door, so that the front porch has no lawn in front of it, it just has driveway.
But you've chosen a circular driveway, but that's an aesthetic choice, right? That's not.
Well, you need a place to back out, I thought, but
Right, but you're saying that if the garage was moved closer to the house in any way so that you didn't need the side variance, that would impede the ability to exit back up from the garage, but.
because you'd have to
if you
basically
have
pave.
the circle
if the
space,
pave-
it seems to be.
Yeah, because I just didn't want to pave the front yard, you know, I wanted to try to have a front yard, so the circular driveway was a way to try to make something there with grass. So there could be grass in that circle as
Aesthetic
opposed
of
to
it.
this all just being paved.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's an aesthetic.
What is the diameter of the green space anyway now that you mention it? 12 feet,
About 16 feet.
16?
Yeah.
That'd make a great garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Christie,
Don't
have
put-
you calculated the minimum open space?
I'm sorry?
Have you calculated what the minimum open space is?
The open
There's a
space,
there's a requirement in the code for minimum open space. Right? I don't have my code with me, so.
Is that separate
This
than,
is that-
separate from building coverage?
Yes,
Because that includes driveway.
right.
Is that right?
That is correct, yeah.
I have not calculated that.
Yeah,
In
well,
the, in the, yeah, all I knew about was this, the 7%. But I don't know what number it would be for open space. Can you tell me?
I don't have my code with me and I can't open the code while I'm on. I don't know how to do that, to open the code to look at that. So does somebody have the bulk and area regs?
I have the
chart-
code
the chart-
open. Hold on. I'll share it, but then we gotta,
I mean, this is,
No.
there we
This
go.
is-
Chris has it.
but,
Can you make it a little
here.
bigger, please?
oh, here, I see.
This is the RD3, right?
RG3,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
7%. Oh, so, okay, here, minimum
That's right.
open space, 80%.
80%.
So does that count on the historical lot though? Because, or that country
That
club
section?
thing, that, this lot that's been in my husband's family since the 1930s.
And wait, there's also can you go to footnote 4?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to, not less than 40% of the required minimum open space associated with any non-residential land use as such for.
Well, that doesn't.
Not less than 40% shall be provided between the front building line and the public right of way, except in the case of a corner lot. So I guess they're saying at least 40% of the open space needs to be in front of the house. Right?
What about associated with any non-residential land use? We've got a residential land use, right?
Oh, so it doesn't apply.
Well, the 80% applies.
Right, but not that.
It does say all other area and bulk regulations must be met under 143.13. So it allows flexibility on the side yards, but everything else is supposed to be complied with.
Okay. So, is there anything about non-conforming lots? Because this is a totally non-conforming lot in a 3-acre zone and it's only
Yes.
0.6 acres. So
Right.
it makes it really hard to meet these coverage.
It's true.
I mean, I think the idea, to be fair, is that if you have an existing old lot, it's not that you get, you could get a 1-bedroom unit on it. It was just to provide some use without a variance.
Yeah.
And here, this would require the variances.
We're not building an excessive house. It's a 2,500 square foot house with a 1,900 square foot footprint. So it's not a giant house or anything. It's very reasonable. But it exceeds that 7%, even
Right.
just the house, forgetting about the garage, just the house at 1,900 square feet footprint exceeds the 7%.
Well, it sounds like we've discussed the facts and we should go ahead and set a public hearing for the next meeting, if that's what you would prefer, rather than wait for any DEC decisions.
I just want to make sure that everyone's clear on what additional variances are needed, because it sounds to me
Yeah,
like,
I'm gonna, and we'll get into that. We're gonna set the hearing for both the front yard setback, the variance for that, the variance for the side yard setback, and an additional variance for building coverage, 7% being allowed in this zoning area. And the proposed coverage is, I believe, 11%. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's for all the buildings.
Yeah.
The 2 buildings, right?
Yeah, I counted the future pool house as well, so it's counting the 3 buildings.
Right, I recall that.
That's a very small. And then I can do the math to see if we require a variance for the 80% minimum open space. I don't have, can I do that after?
We can give you a few minutes now.
Okay.
While she does that, Victoria, I just want to clarify with you, do they need to, they can just amend their application without paying additional fees and escrow? I can just amend that based on the record created by these minutes?
If we were sitting in person, I would have had the Bathricks, sign the initial changes to their application. And then we would have moved forward on that. Since we're not all together, I would be okay with them just submitting a new, they can write amended application on top of it. And, with the changes without new fees, because it's this, it's the same application we're processing.
Okay, so they should write that and then submit it to.
Well, I guess let me retract that statement. Does the fee schedule, remind me, because I don't remember, does it charge by variance requested, or is it one fee for?
No, it's just one fee and they can request any number of variances.
Okay, given that, then there's no need to collect additional fees.
Okay.
And while we're waiting, we can go ahead and do the seeker, right? Designate this as a type 2.
Correct.
Can I get a motion to designate the proposed building activity as a type 2?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So Bob Fennell, to be clear, what I'm subtracting or what I'm adding up for open space is the patio, the pool, all the buildings,
Everything that is in green
and the
space.
driveway.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Bob, what did you say? I missed it.
everything that is not green space,
So the porches.
porches, yeah.
Mm.
Could somebody look up the definition of minimum open space in their zoning law?
Yep,
143-3?
sure.
Okay. Forgot to
And
bring
then
that up.
while you're doing that, one thing that might be helpful for the applicant to do is to look at other variances that the board has granted in the area recently, because this whole development is undersized.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. This is Liz, sorry. If most of the houses in there are way more on their lot than we're talking about. So I just kind of, do we need photographic evidence? What would we need?
If you want to submit it together, what might be helpful is, photographs or you can do, look through the town records, because you have to make the case that this is not going to cause an undesirable change in the neighborhood, in the character of the neighborhood. And so, if you can identify other similarly sized properties, that would assist your argument. Okay.
Okay, and we also already met, we had to get reviewed by the homeowners association, country club, and they were all okay with it. So do we need a letter or anything from them that says that? Okay.
Victoria, could you look up?
Okay, well, open space is defined as, here, do you mind if I share?
Go ahead, yeah.
Well,
I have to stop.
there we go. That area of a lot, land in its natural state, including associated streams, ponds, and wet areas containing no buildings or structures, or land containing improvements strictly in support of agricultural uses. So no buildings or structures in its natural state. So Bob, do you include driveways in that?
Yeah.
in open space or as developed?
As developed.
Developed, right.
So it's everything that's green and blue,
Everything is green.
streams and ponds, blue.
Everything is natural.
Yeah.
May not be green, but natural.
Okay, I will just say to the Bathricks too, that I have, for looking at other variance requests for this neighborhood, I visited it several times and it's a very, there's a lot of diverse development on there. And
Diverse is
I would not.
very good,
Yes.
very adroit word. Thank you.
It's a very interesting neighborhood with a lot of, and indeed, there are many small lots with a
Yeah,
lot of coverage and big houses on them.
like Spring Lake.
We're trying to bring it back to beauty.
Great.
Yeah.
We're all in
Yeah, and we've
favor.
really been trying to kind of not, I mean, we didn't want to build some big modern thing. We're trying to keep it nice and, but still livable. This is going to be our primary, like, full-time residence, so.
Are you do you have an ensuite on the downstairs floor?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah, the master.
Master suite on the downstairs?
Yes, we do, because I have asthma
Good.
and some other issues that
Excellent.
require me
Sorry about
to,
that, but good
Yeah.
thinking. Yep.
we want it to be our age and place home and our
Yeah,
forever
I
home. And
understand. Yep.
it's been in the family for a long, long time, waiting for somebody to build, so.
What Bathrick are you, may I ask?
My husband,
You know Marty, my brother,
No,
and
I
Connie,
don't.
my mother.
I'm 77.
And
so
Wink. What about Wink?
yeah, that's his dad. Wink
Yeah.
was
That's
his
his
dad.
dad. I remember him well.
Yeah.
Who was Batty Bathrick?
Who?
Uh-huh. see?
Batty?
Yeah,
Oh, is that Grandpa Bathrick?
it would
No,
be.
Batty was my great uncle.
Oh, I don't
Okay.
know. Great uncle.
Yeah, Arvine, there's Arvine
Yeah, you're right.
and Charlotte, who just,
Mhm.
God bless
Okay.
her, she lived to 108. So,
Holy mackerel.
Oh,
No one is
Christie, do
100.
we have an idea yet? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Will we need a fourth variance?
So our lot coverage comes in at about 74%. And the minimum open space is 80%.
Okay, so we would need a fourth variance for the open space. So they can amend their application to include the two new variances, and we can schedule a public hearing for the next meeting, March 9th, I guess.
So I just want to be clear, Victoria, all they have to do is bring in an additional copy of their application, which they've already submitted to Bob, with the new variances stated and stating on the application amended. That's all
I
they have.
would write amended on the top. And then, right, have the new variances. And then I would even use the old application, write amended, add the new stuff, and then have it re-signed, revised on 2/9. Keep the old signature date and add an updated revision date.
Do they need to have that notarized again?
Does the signature have to be notarized on the
On the
application?
application, yes.
Well, if I'm using the same application, it's already signed.
Right. I mean, normally I would have the applicant initial. Why don't you just have the
Yeah.
applicant initial the change where you make the
Okay.
change?
All right, I'm sorry. I know, I'm asking all of this because we've always done it in person at the meeting in the past. And I just want to make sure that the procedure is correct so that we don't run into any difficulties anywhere over some procedural glitch.
That's fine, we appreciate that.
We could
Thanks for
annotate the
details.
screen on Zoom and you take a screenshot.
No, we need an original.
Meeting on Zoom is pushing it enough, I think.
Yeah.
Let's not give Anna a heart attack.
Can we get a motion to set the public hearing for the next meeting on March 9th? Or did we do that?
I so move.
Okay.
I thought we did it, but let's do it again.
Second.
No, we did not because we were waiting for the calculation. So
Okay.
to be
Okay.
clear, you're
So-
setting a public hearing on 4 requested variances: open space, front setback, side setback, and building coverage.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Are we not removing? Are we not removing The side yard setback, I thought that's what you were encouraging us to do.
Oh, well, then
We
you have
are.
to change, oh, I
We-
thought we were setting it as proposed.
We're setting it as proposed, and just, you should
Us.
know that we will consider that. If you don't need it, then so much the better. You're asking for 4 variances. That's, I think, more than I've ever
Yeah,
encountered.
that's a lot.
But then
So,
if we only submit 3, then that's fine. So,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so all in favor of setting the public hearing for March 9th? Aye.
Aye.
I,
Okay. Is there, anything else that we need to do tonight? I think we've come to the end of the agenda items.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, guys.
Just one question for Victoria. I saw you writing writing on the resolution forms. Are you going to send that all to me? Do I need to do anything? I would usually, based on the minutes, write them up, but it looks like you've done it already. So do you need anything from me, Victoria?
So Anne, I forwarded them to you already. They have all the writing that I put in. They don't need to be changed substantively, but there were some formatting issues. Like there was some spacing that I just didn't fix. So if you
Okay.
could fix the formatting and make sure all that's good. But the findings don't need to be, the board voted on what was in there.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. Because that's
Yes.
something too. So I'm happy for it, but I just want to make sure and if there's anything to be done on my end, that I'm doing it. Okay,
We'll keep it simple. If you could just figure out how to fix that spacing issue, that would be good.
okay, all right.
Okay, board members, stay healthy. Chris is.
Yeah, sorry, you
We
too.
got no leeway. Everybody
right.
look for people that might want to be on the board. This is not good. This is really
Yep,
not good where
it is
we're
not
at,
good.
so.
Motion to adjourn?
Can we get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll
second.
second. Aye.
Okay, good
Thank
night,
you.
everyone.
Good
Good
night,
night.
everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Thanks,
Thanks a
Victoria.
lot. Yep.
Everyone.
Well done, Kate.
Yeah.